Hey everyone, welcome back to the Let's Learn SQL Server series. My name is Martin Lazarus. Today we'll be talking about part 10, variables. So, what is a variable? A variable is a way that you're able to store something so that way you can then use it later on. So, the way that we create a variable in SQL Server is we first have to say declare. Declare basically means that we're going to be creating some type of variable. Then you're going to put the at sign, and then what the at sign means is that you're going to be creating a variable, and then you're going to name this whatever you want. So let's say that I call this number. And then directly after this name, you have to give it a data type. So like we talked about a couple of videos ago, there are different data types. There is int, varchar, decimal, float. Then there's some other ones, but those are really just going to be the major ones. So if I said int, now this creates me a variable. So if I wanted to set the variable, I could say set at, and then IntelliSense helps me. It says, hey, I know that you have a variable. So we say at number equals to, and then let's give this a number. Let's say 10. And now what we can do is we can use this really anywhere or most places that we want to maybe use this. So if I did select at number, oops, let's make this all lowercase just for consistency. So if I run just this part here, it's not going to work because it's saying that I have to declare it. So if you have a variable, make sure to also select the declare as well, because all of this all runs together in what's called the like a batch, I think is what it's called. So if you have a variable, make sure to run all of your code that variable's in. So now we see 10. And if I change this to 25, now it becomes 25. So where this becomes powerful is that let's actually use this like for something meaningful. Okay? So we're going to say declare, just like how we did before. And now, actually, before we do that, let's run a query real quick. So let's go select star from human resources dot. Oh, come on, IntelliSense, help me out here. Make me dig around tables. Let's see here. All right, human resources dot employee. I think this is a table I want. Let's double check here. Vacation hours. Yeah, this should work. This should work just fine. So let's say that we wanted to do something that probably is never going to happen, but like just to make it a little bit complicated, let's say that we wanted to know what the average vacation hours are. Then once we know what the average vacation are, or the average vacation hours are for all employees, we want to see which employees have above the average, above the average vacation hours, whatever that is, relative to the sick leave hours. So that might not make a whole lot of sense. So rather than me try to explain it, let's just dive into it, okay? So first things first is we're going to use our average function, which we learned about, and then we're going to put in here vacation hours. Perfect. Thank you, IntelliSense. And now we're going to run this. So now we have a number here, 50. Well, what if we could store this somewhere? That way we can use it later on. Well, you absolutely can. So let's declare a variable, and we'll call it at, and we'll say AVG vacation hours. And this is going to be a number. So let's say integer. Then after here, we're going to say set at AVG vacation hours equal to, and then this is all going to be in parentheses. So let's clean this up a little bit. Let's see the best way to do this. Select, let's put us on a new line. Okay, let's do this. Select average vacation hours from, here we go. And then because we have a parenthesis open right up top here, we also have to close it too. So now let's see what we have within our variable average vacation hours, AVG vacation hours. That's awesome. So now we're able to use this wherever we want. And just so you know, I just want to show you a couple like other shorthand methods you can use to also assign your variables. So you can put equals directly after here. And then we could have done this chunk of code if we wanted to. So we could have done this, and then this part here we wouldn't have need. So I'll just comment that out, and then you'll see if I do this, it doesn't change anything. I personally just think this method here I have highlighted just looks a little bit cleaner, but realistically either way works. And lastly, which you can also do, and I don't want to confuse you with giving you too much information, but I would rather you know a couple different ways to do it. That way then, whichever way you feel most comfortable with, that's the way that you could do it. So I'm going to erase all of these things here. And what I can do is, let's indent these back. Okay. So what we can do is we can actually set the variable right within here. And when I say here, I mean this particular query. So what we can do is we can say select, and we're going to copy our variable name, and then we're going to say equals. So essentially we're saying whatever this value is, we're going to assign that to this AVG or average vacation hours variable. And you'll see again that result does not change. And then you might be wondering why there's no column name here. Well, it's because we didn't actually alias it. So if I said as, and then I put average vacation hours, then you'll see average vacation hours as my column name. If I don't put a column name there, it's not going to have one. Okay, so now that we have that, what we want to see, and we'll do select star from the same table, so human resources dot employee, and we'll clean this up a little bit, make some of these capital here, and we'll space it out nice and neat. Okay, so select star from human resources dot employee where, and let me alias this, so as let's say HRE, where HRE dot, and we said that we wanted to know what the sick leave hours were, but what we want to see is we want to see whatever the average is of the vacation hours, excuse me, that we have. We want to see employees that have above that for the sick leave hours. So what we can do is we can say where the sick leave hours is greater than the average vacation hours, like this. So now if we run this, I really hope I get results here. Perfect. So now we see that these employees have above whatever the average vacation hours is. And one of the beautiful things about this is that there's really a couple things about this. is that this is going to be dynamic in the sense that if we ever add new employees, remove employees, out the vacation hours increase or decrease, it doesn't matter because this is always going to change no matter what. So it's not like you're hard coding a number like 20 or 30. The other reason why this is good is because if you didn't do this, you would have something that looks like this. And that's not exactly the cleanest way of doing it. It sure does work though. So if I just run this code here, oops, it still keeps popping up. If I just run this code here, I get the same exact result. So, whichever way you like doing it, it's fine. I prefer it to be a little bit cleaner. That way, if I have to go back a month later or 2 months later to look at it, I'm able to read it and also understand exactly what's happening rather than having to decipher, well, what does this thing actually do? So I like the maintenance part over like the, I guess you would say, functionality part of it. But for functionality, it gives you exactly the same answer. So let's put this back to the way it was. So average vacation hours, we'll put that right here. Run this, and then we get the same exact result. So let's do one more thing here with the variables. So we see that we can create one variable. What if we wanted to create multiple variables? No problem. So let's declare, and let's just say birth date. I'm just making up something. And I need to have my @ sign in the beginning. Anytime that you create a variable, it always has to begin with this @ sign. There is like no exception to that at all. And let's make this a varchar. So we know that we're going to have in here alphanumeric characters. And actually, this is a birth date. So let's just put in here a date. Sorry. And let's say they were born 1/1 of 1975, let's say. So what if we wanted to see all of the people born earlier than this date? So what we can do is we can select star from human resources dot employee, come on, IntelliSense, as excuse me, as HRE, where I think it's called birth date. Yeah, birth date. Okay, so where HRE, there we go, dot birth date is less than at birth date. So now if we run this, now we get all of these people who've had a birth date less than this date. And we can even change this as much as we want. Cool. So what else can we do? So remember how I said, can we have in here multiple variables? Absolutely we can. So we can say declare, and let's say that we also wanted to look for salaried employees as well. So let's say at salaried, SALARIED, and this is a boolean, so that would be a bit, sorry. It's a bit, and then we're going to say this is equal to 1. Okay, then we can just use this just like we're looking for if we were to hard code it. So and HRE dot salaried flag is equal to at salaried. Then if we run this, now we see that we have here 25 records. So now I have all of my conditions right up top here. And you might be wondering if there is a way to clean this up a little bit, because we have here declare written twice. Is there a way that we can kind of clean that up a little bit? Sure. So if we put a comma after that, then if we erase this declare, now you're able to list out your variables, as many as you want. You can assign them values, and this should work. And as it does. So now I could put a comma here, and let's do something. Let's do one last thing here. So we have, let's do 0 here, and let's see what that gives us. Okay, let's say that we wanted to look for all of the job titles that had in there a specific like a word or letters or whatever the case is. We just want to be able to search on the job title. Well, one way we could do that is we can say at job title, and then within here we're going to say varchar, and I'll just make this 100 characters. More than likely it'll never go bigger than that, but just in case. So let's say that anywhere in the string of this job title, as long as they have in there a tech, anywhere in there, I want that record to be returned. So let's code that real quick. Let's see what that'll look like. Let's do and hre dot, I believe it was job title. So here's where it gets a little bit tricky. What some people may think is that we can just put there the job title, and then it should find it. The reality of it is that it doesn't. And the reason why it doesn't is this is no different than you doing this. Changing like to equals. It's no different from how the SQL Server handles it. So what we have to do is we have to have a % before, and we need to have a % after it. So remember how we talked about using a like? So we said select star from job, let's see, human resources dot employee where job title like, and then remember how we would do something like this? This is exactly like what we're trying to accomplish, whereas before what we had was this. So this is the exact same thing as just saying equals. So if we put our % within here, let's see how many results we get back. We get back 161. So we obviously have other conditions we're looking for in here. So let's see if we get back more than how many we had before, which was, I believe, 0 records. Perfect. So we're actually gaining back records now, and we see that all of these job titles all have within them a tech in the description. If you wanted to look for anything ending in tech or beginning with tech, you just have to erase one or the other %. I really hope this video was helpful. If you have any questions at all, anything that you want me to do, please leave me a comment or message me, and subscribe too. All right, well, thank you.